أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Lesson number 171, Surah Al-Hajj, ayah number 65 to 78. أَلَمْ تَرَ, do you not see, أَنَّ اللَّهَ سَخَّرَ لَكُمْ, that indeed Allah has subjected to you. He has subjected for your sake. What? مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ, whatever that is in the earth. The address is to who? To people, to human beings, to us. That do you not see that indeed Allah has subjected everything in the earth for you? What does it mean by sakhara? Sakhara, yusakhiru, taskhir. It gives us two meanings. First of all, it gives a meaning of making something subdued, making something subjected, so that it does not have any free will, it does not have any choice, it is just put to service. So everything in the earth has been put to service for whose sake? For whose benefit? For the benefit of human beings. If you look at it, in the entire planet, there are so many systems, so many laws you can say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set. And all of them are fixed. And amongst all of the creation, who has free will? Who has choice? It's only us. It's only human beings. And if you look at it, everything, in reality, what is it benefiting? Human beings. So sakhara, meaning He has subjected, He has subdued for your benefit. And secondly, sakhara also gives a meaning of that He has made it serviceable for you. That it's under your control. That you are able to use everything in the earth. You are able to do whatever you wish. For example, if you look at it, animals, from the biggest to the smallest, who has control over them? People. Sometimes you see little children controlling huge camels, a herd of camels sometimes. How is it possible? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this preference to human beings over the rest of the creation. So, do you not see that everything in the earth has been subjected for your benefit? You are able to use it. Everything is benefiting you. مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. And مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ includes everything. Animals, whether they are of livestock or otherwise. Similarly, it includes the land itself, in the form of fields, in the form of orchards, the plants that grow. Everything is benefiting you. And it's not just that everything in the land is benefiting you, but also the sea. وَالْفُلْكَ, and the ships. تَجْرِي, it flows. فِي الْبَحْرِ, in the sea. بِأَمْرِهِ, at His command. And obviously, ships can only float on sea when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has subjected the sea for your benefit as well. Because it's amazing how a ship can float, it does not drown, but if you put a pin on water, it will drown immediately. It will not even float for a second. So who has placed the system? Who has created in this fashion? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So وَالْفُلْكَ تَجْرِي فِي الْبَحْرِ بِأَمْرِهِ. And the ships, what do they carry? They carry people as well as their loads. وَيُمْسِكُ, and He holds السَّمَاءَ, the sky, أَن تَقَعَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ, lest it should fall upon the earth. Taqa'a, from the root letters, waw, qaf, ayn. Waqa'a literally means to fall down, and it also gives a meaning of when something occurs, when something happens. So He is the one who is holding the sky up from falling down on the earth. That when you see the sky, when you see the clouds up in the sky, when you see the stars up in the sky, there's some system that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed that despite the fact that anything that you put mid-air, it's going to fall towards the earth, the clouds don't fall. Right? Similarly, the stars, they don't fall onto the earth. The sun does not fall onto the earth. The moon does not fall onto the earth. Despite the fact that there is gravity, still Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed such a system that the ceiling, that the roof that is above us, when we walk beneath it, we feel safe and secure. أَن تَقَعَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِهِ, except by His permission. And when will that be? On the Day of Judgment. يَوْمَ نَطْوِي السَّمَاءَ. On that day, what's going to happen? The sky is going to be rolled up. Inna Allaha, indeed Allah, bin nasi, with all people, whether believers or not. With all people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is la ra'ufun, surely one who is most affectionate, and rahimun, most merciful. Ra'uf is from the root letters Ra, Hamza, Fa, Ra'fa. And Ra'fa is compassion, affection, kindness. And Rahim, Rahmah, mercy. So Allah is so affectionate, He is so kind and so merciful towards people. This is why He has made all of this for the benefit of human beings. This is why He has subjected the earth, and He has also subjected the sea for the benefit of human beings. And it's out of His mercy and compassion that He holds the sky up and does not let it fall down on people. This ayah, what does it indicate? The mercy of Allah, as well as the might and power of Allah. That He is the one who has made everything in the heavens and the earth, and He is the one who has made everything in the earth subservient to who? Human beings. He is the one who has created everything for the benefit of human beings, so that human beings can thrive on the earth. They're the ones who can do whatever they wish on the earth. They have the freedom, they have the choice, they have the ability. Because if you compare the human being with the other creatures either, if they have too much power, if they have the ability, they don't have the brain. Like for example, if a cheetah can run very fast, does he have the brain like that of a human being? No. Yes, the human being cannot run as fast as a cheetah. However, the human being has a brain. Similarly, if you look at it, ants, they're very smart creatures, extremely smart. However, it's their size that makes them so vulnerable. So compared to all creatures, human being is the one on whom Allah has showed immense favor. Immense favor. Why? Because Allah is Ra'uf and He is Rahim. In Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 29, we learn, هُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ لَكُم مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا. It is He who has created for you all of that which is on the earth. Everything that is on the earth has been created for whose benefit? Human beings. In Surah Al-Jathiyah, ayah number 13, we learn, وَسَخَّرَ لَكُم مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا مِّنْهُ. And He has subjected to you whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth, all from Him. So it's not just that whatever is on the earth is subjected for human beings, but it's also whatever is in the heavens, whatever is in the skies. Everything is functioning in order to benefit human beings. And He has also subjected the sea. He has also subjected the water for the human beings. In Surah Yasin, ayah number 41 and 42, we learn, وَآيَةٌ لَهُمْ أَنَّا حَمَلْنَا ذُرِّيَّتَهُمْ فِي الْفُلْكِ الْمَشْحُونِ وَخَلَقْنَا لَهُم مِّن مِّثْلِهِ مَا يَرْكَبُونَ. And a sign for them is that we carried their forefathers in a laden ship, and we created for them from the likes of it that which they ride. So from a very early era, we see from the time of Nuh alayhi salam, there have been ships that have been flowing across the seas, benefiting who? People. So that they can travel from one place to the other. And finally, in this ayah is also mentioned that He is the one who is holding the sky from falling onto the earth. We learn in Surah Saba, ayah number 9, أَفَلَمْ يَرَوْا إِلَى مَا بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمَا خَلْفَهُم مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ إِن نَشَأْ نَخْسِفْ بِهِمُ الْأَرْضَ أَوْ نُسْقِطْ عَلَيْهِمْ كِسَفًا مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ. Do they not look at what is before them and what is behind them of the heaven and the earth? If we should will, we could cause the earth to swallow them, or we could let fall upon them fragments from the sky. So this could have happened. But who is protecting human beings? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you look at it within the earth, inside the earth, in outer space, there are so many things that are going on. One accident, one thing goes haywire, and that's it. The entire human race will be wiped out. Entire human race. We have seen how the slightest movement within the plates of the earth, just one earthquake, how much of a disaster it can cause. How much disaster. So imagine if parts of the sky or what is in the sky would fall down upon the earth. Would human beings be able to survive? Not at all. So it's out of great mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has not only provided us with everything, but He is also protecting us. He is also preserving us. In Surah Al-Mu'minun, ayah number 17, we learn, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا فَوْقَكُمْ سَبْعَ طَرَائِقَ وَمَا كُنَّا عَنِ الْخَلْقِ غَافِلِينَ. And we have created above you 7 layered heavens, and never have we been of our creation unaware. That yes, there are 7 heavens over there, but below, there are human beings, and we're not unaware of them. We're not heedless towards them. We are protecting them. We are preserving them. And in Surah Al-Anbiya, ayah 32, we have learned earlier that وَجَعَلْنَا السَّمَاءَ سَقْفًا مَحْفُوظًا. The sky has been created as a protected ceiling, that it is protected from falling down. Just think about it. If you ever walk under a ceiling that is about to collapse, sometimes you're walking through and you see a ceiling tile, because it's been raining and there's so much water, it's about to fall down. How scary it is just standing underneath. Just walking by from underneath even. I remember once it was raining very heavily over here, and somewhere in the building there was a ceiling tile which was drenched with water, literally. And I remember a piece of it had fallen down from the middle. And I was terrified. I was like, if I move from here, if I go from here, Allahu A'lam, what might happen? What if this whole tile collapses? What if the entire tile comes down? So just imagine, we walk under the blue sky. Huge clouds, heavy clouds go from above us. But still we have this feeling of security. That we are safe here. Yes, it's a huge ceiling up above us, but we never feel threatened for even a moment. That something from above there could fall down upon us, destroying us. So this is a great mercy of Allah. This is a huge favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon us. So we see that in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that He has made the best arrangements for human beings on this earth. The best arrangements. That He has facilitated everything for us, so that we can do whatever we want. There is security, there is protection, there is provision, there is freedom, there are resources, there is ability. He has given us everything so we can do whatever we want. And what is our duty? What has He obligated us with? That we should thank Him, that we should worship Him. And why should we not worship Him when He has provided us everything that we could ever desire? وَآتَاكُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ مَا سَأَلْتُمُوهُ. And He has given you everything that you could ask for. So when His favors are so huge, when His favors are countless, when there are so many, it is our duty that we should be grateful to Him. It is our duty that we should worship Him. Just think about it. If someone has been shown great favors by their parents, like how some parents are very caring towards their children. They will pay for their tuition in university, they will buy them a car, they will cover their expenses, they will cover their gas, they will cover everything. And what do they want from children? Just be good towards us. Just smile at us. Don't show me this attitude. Don't show me this anger. And if that child shows anger, if that child does not even come and show his face to the parents, how ungrateful of him. So imagine the favors that parents have done to a child. Yes, there are many, but they are nothing compared to the favors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has shown towards each and every single one of us. Every single one of us. So it's our obligation that we thank Him, that we use these blessings to please Him. To do that with which He will be happy. Not that we use these blessings day and night only to upset Him, only to make Him more angry with us. وَهُوَ الَّذِي. And He is the one who أَحْيَاكُمْ. He gave you life. He is the one who created you. You were nothing, unknown. You had no existence, no body, no name, nothing whatsoever. But He is the one who created you. ثُمَّ يُمِيتُكُمْ. And then He will cause you death. When? After your life has come to an end. And then, ثُمَّ يُحْيِيكُمْ. And then again He will give you life. When? On the Day of Judgment. إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ. But despite all of that, the human being, he is lakafur, surely one who is extremely ungrateful. One who is very, very ungrateful. Notice the word is kafur, fa'ul, mubalagha. So kafur is who? One who is constantly ungrateful, repeatedly ungrateful. And as we learned earlier, that khiyana towards anyone is bad. However, khiyana towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is worse. Similarly, ingratitude towards a human being, yes, it's bad. However, ingratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is worse. It's extreme. This is why innal insana lakafur. Why kafur? Because when the favors of Allah are so many, when the favors of Allah are so many, they're countless. Therefore, ingratitude shown to Him is also extreme. We learn in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 28, that كَيْفَ تَكْفُرُونَ بِاللَّهِ, how can you disbelieve in Allah? وَكُنْتُمْ أَمْوَاتًا فَأَحْيَاكُمْ, while you were dead and He gave you life. Just imagine, you were dead and He gave you life. So how can you deny Him? How can you be ungrateful to Him? If someone has saved your life, if someone has saved your life in the sense that perhaps a person was in a very huge car accident and the person came right on time, taking them out of the car, what do you say? They saved my life. How thankful are you to that person? How thankful are you? Similarly, if a doctor has done a treatment on a patient and it's been very successful, the patient is ever grateful to the doctor, to that hospital. People will give huge donations to those hospitals. Why? Because they have received so much benefit. So if someone has saved your life, you feel obligated to show gratitude to them. Imagine Allah has created us. He is the one who gave us life. If He did not give us life, we would not be alive. We would not know anything. We would not experience anything. We would not have anything. Allah is the one who gave us life. So how can you deny Him? كَيْفَ تَكْفُرُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَكُنْتُمْ أَمْوَاتًا فَأَحْيَاكُمْ and ثُمَّ يُمِيتُكُمْ ثُمَّ يُحْيِيكُمْ ثُمَّ إِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. So Allah is the one who has given us everything. He is the one who has subjected the heavens and the earth for us. So what is our obligation? That we should show gratitude to Him. We should not be ungrateful to Him. And we should use these things in order to please Him, in order to thank Him, in order to do that with which He will be happy with. لِكُلِّ أُمَّةٍ, for every nation, for every ummah. The word ummah, as you know, has several meanings. Sometimes it gives a meaning of nation. Sometimes it gives a meaning of religion. Sometimes it also gives a meaning of leader. Like we learned that, إِنَّ إِبْرَاهِيمَ كَانَ ummah. And also ummah gives a meaning of one more meaning. Time period. So 4 meanings of ummah. Over here, لِكُلِّ أُمَّةٍ, ummah gives the meaning of nation. Meaning for every nation before the nation of Prophet ﷺ, including the ummah of Muhammad ﷺ. So any ummah that came. And what is an ummah? What is a nation? What is a community of people? How are they connected with one another? What is it that connects them together? It's their religion. How? That they are the followers of a particular messenger, of the same messenger. So for example, Musa a.s., his ummat was who? Bani Israel. Why? Because they were the followers of Musa a.s. Alright? So similarly, the ummat of Isa a.s. So لِكُلِّ أُمَّةٍ, for every ummah to whom a prophet, to whom a messenger was sent. جَعَلْنَا, we made, meaning we appointed, mansakan, a ritual, a religious rite, a way of worship, sacred law. What does the word mansak mean? We have done this word earlier many times. It's basically used for a way of worship. It's used for ritual, religious ceremony. And the word is particularly used for those rituals that are pertaining to Hajj. And within the rituals of Hajj even, specifically this word is used for dhabiha, for slaughter, for sacrifice. So لِكُلِّ أُمَّةٍ جَعَلْنَا مَنْسَكًا, over here mansak gives a meaning of law, sacred law, rituals, ways of worship, and in particular also slaughter. that every nation was obligated to offer sacrifice for who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we see this even in the ummah of Adam alayhi salam, the first ummah. Because his two sons, what did they do? They offered sacrifice for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is said that one of them, he had slaughtered an animal whose sacrifice was accepted, and the other one had offered some crop, and that was not accepted. So لِكُلِّ أُمَّةٍ جَعَلْنَا مَنْسَكًا هُمْ نَاسِكُوهُ. They are the ones who performed it. Nasiku is actually nasikuna, plural of the word nasik. And nasik is ism fa'il. So who is nasik? One who performs the nusuk, one who performs the ritual, one who observes the act of worship, one who offers sacrifice. So for every nation was a sacred law. Every nation was obligated to offer sacrifice to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and hum nasikuhu, they were to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala according to it. They were to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala according to the mansak that they were taught. What does this show to us? That every nation was taught how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every nation. And remember that the main religion that was brought by all the messengers was the same. And which one is that? The religion of Islam. Meaning all the messengers taught Tawheed. Their aqidah was the same. The belief was the same. However, the practices, they varied. The practices, they varied. So for example, the practices that were given to the ummah of Musa alayhi salam are different from the practices that have been given to us. Isn't it so? So hum nasikuhu, they are to perform it, meaning they were to perform the rituals that they were given. They weren't allowed to invent their own ways. Every ummah was commanded as to what they should do, and they were obligated to observe only that. فَلَا يُنَازِعُنَّكَ. So let them not contend with you. Let them not dispute with you. فِي الْأَمْرِ, concerning the matter. Which matter? The matter of sacred law, the matter of performing rituals, the matter of offering sacrifice. And yunazi'unnaka is from the root letters Nun, Zai, Ain, Naza'a. What does Naza'a literally mean? To pull something. And then Munaza'a is to pull something to one another. So it's like a tug of war. So Munaza'a is what? Dispute, an argument, a fight, in which both the parties are pulling the haqq towards themselves. They're claiming themselves to be truthful, to be the ones on that which is right. So فَلَا يُنَازِعُنَّكَ فِي الْأَمْرِ. Now who does they refer to? That they should not argue with you concerning the matter of religion? They refers to the followers of other religions, or the people who are still observing their religion brought by previous messengers. So for example, the Yahud, the Nasara, they should not argue with you concerning the matter of religion. And the command is being given to who? To the followers of other religions. However, indirectly this is a command being given to who? To us. That we should not dispute with them concerning the matters of religion. What does it mean by this? That don't dispute with them concerning the ways of worship. You see, every ummah, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned over here, was given their own way of worship. Now what happens? When you tell people that we believe in Ibrahim alayhi salam, we believe in Adam alayhi salam, we believe in Musa alayhi salam, we believe that the Torah was sent, we believe that the Injil was sent, we believe in all of the prophets of Allah. People may question you, then how come your ways of worship are different? If you claim to be believers of Musa, if you claim to be believers in Isa alayhi salam, then how come your ways of worship are different from the followers of Musa alayhi salam and the followers of Isa alayhi salam? And this objection was also raised at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where the Jews, they asked him that if you claim to be believer in Musa alayhi salam, then how come your ways of worship, your practices are slightly different than ours? In some cases, slightly different. In other cases, extremely different. Very, very different. Like for example, if you just compare the dietary laws the restrictions that we have been given are more lenient compared to the restrictions that were imposed on who? The Jews. Aren't there? So they're different. Similarly, when it comes to the way of worship, praying the salah, it's different. Isn't it so? They do pray, the Jews do pray, the Muslims also pray. However, the method is different, the times are different, the words are different. There's a huge difference. Similarly, when it comes to the Qibla, the Jews, they were facing the Bayt al-Maqdis, and the Muslims, eventually they faced what? The Kaaba. So these differences are there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us over here that when this objection is raised, do not argue with them over this matter. Why? Because every ummah was given their own way of worship. The Jews, they were given their own way of worship. And now the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been given its own way of worship. So these differences are there, and they are so because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept them. And remember that Allah is the lawmaker. He can give whatever laws to whichever people. It's up to Him. He is the lawmaker. So He legislated different laws. And there is a great wisdom behind that. What's that wisdom? That the circumstances at that time were different compared to the circumstances that people are in today. If you look at it, the time before Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was completely different. And after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the times have changed. The way that people live, that way has changed. Before, people were isolated. People were living in their own areas, in their own countries. But after Islam came and the Muslim empire, it spread from Arabia, abroad, all the way almost to Europe. Spain was also included. So with that, the world became like a global community. So you can see that after the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the circumstances that are on the earth, they drastically changed. And before, they were completely different. Therefore, there's a huge difference between the commands that were given to previous nations compared to the commands that are given to the nation of Muhammad ﷺ. And there are many other wisdoms as well. So Allah has kept this difference. He is a lawmaker. It's up to Him. And He gave different laws to different nations. And we are not to argue about it. If people do raise this objection that you claim to be believers in all of these prophets, then how come your ways are different? What's the answer? Allah gave different laws to them. He has given different laws to us. Secondly, remember that this is also for a test. This is also for a test. What is that test? That in the religion, there are differences. So for example, in the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the ummah of Musa alaihi salam, the laws that were given to them, they are different. But in this difference is also a test. That what do people do? Do they get stuck in these differences, or do they go above them and see the truth and accept it? Do they just get stuck in these differences, or do they focus on the higher purpose? That does a person just judge the truth by saying that, oh, how different is it from what I am doing? Or does he judge the truth by what it is? Like for example, if you look at it, even within the religion of Islam, between the various madhahib, aren't there differences? Right? There are differences. If you look at it, even between the Sunni Muslims, there are so many different schools of thought. One person says, when you pray salah, put your hands here. The other says, put your hands there. One says, this is wajib. The other says, no, it's not wajib. This is mustahab. So in all of these differences, what happens? Some people, they get stuck in these differences. And others, they get past them. They get above them. Some people develop hatred for one another based on these differences. Oh, she thinks that wearing niqab is wajib, therefore I'm not going to listen to her. I'm going to stay away from her. Okay, she says that niqab is mustahab. Yes, she's my friend. So you see, sometimes we choose our friends, we choose our company based on what? These slight differences. That yes, she thinks the way I think, and she doesn't think the way I think. Therefore, I like her and I don't like her. Is this what our religion teaches us? No. There are differences. And if you look at it, these differences are not that major. They're very minute. They're very slight. And they don't make a big deal at all. It's not worth fighting over. So it's a huge test that what do we do? Do we remember the purpose of this religion? Or do we just get stuck in these differences? And also if you look at it, these differences Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept within the various nations. Why? To distinguish one ummah from the other. Because think about it, if the law that was given to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was exactly the same as the law that was given to the people of Musa alayhi salam. Exactly the same. No difference whatsoever. Not even in the method of prayer. Not even in dietary laws. Exactly the same. Then if someone was Jewish and then they became Muslim, how would you know? How would you know? They're praying the same way, right? They are eating in the same way. They're facing the same qibla. It's exactly the same. So how would you know that a person has really become Muslim? Because Iman is actually in the heart. Isn't it so? You cannot check the heart. You only check the Iman of a person by his outward actions. If his outward actions are the same, they're not different at all. So how will you know if this person has really become Muslim or not? So it is to distinguish one ummah from the other. وَدْعُ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ. And also invite people. To who? To your Lord. Meaning, O Prophet ﷺ, keep inviting people to the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. And remember that إِنَّكَ لَعَلَى هُدًى مُسْتَقِيمٍ. That indeed you are surely upon the correct guidance, the straight guidance. So what do we see over here? That the main thing is to connect people with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To invite them to Allah. To invite them to the worship of Allah alone. But when people get caught up with arguments, when they get caught up with differences, then what happens? They overlook what is more important. So what is more important? Discussing the differences and arguing about them, or calling people to Allah? Calling people to Allah is more important. That is the main focus. For example, if you look at it, the majority of the people who become serious about the religion, who become serious about the deen, what happens to them? They get stuck in matters such as, so is this mustahab, is this wajib, is this fard, is it this, is it that? They learn the evidences, they learn how one group refutes the other, one argument refutes the other. This is all that they're concerned about. This is what their time goes into. This is what their mind goes into. This is what their energy goes into. This is all that they're studying about. And less time and effort is dedicated to calling people to the worship of Allah. Think about it. Majority of Muslims, when they become serious about learning the deen, what are they concerned about? Learning this fiqh, learning that fiqh, learning about this opinion, that opinion. This is what they're concerned about. Hardly ever do you see someone learning the deen so they can do da'wah, they can call other people to the religion of Allah. So the main focus is what? وَدْعُ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ. Don't get stuck in these differences. Don't get stuck in these arguments. Get past these arguments. Now it does not mean that we are not encouraged to learn more about our religion, to learn more about proofs and evidences, to increase our knowledge. No, that is necessary. However, that is not the main goal. That is not the main focus. What's the main focus? Learn so that you can invite people. Not learn so that you can refute. Remember, learn so that you can invite, not learn so you can refute. There's a huge difference. Because unfortunately, those people who become serious about learning their religion, their focus becomes refuting one group after the other. Refuting one scholar, refuting one opinion after the other. This is not the correct way. The correct way is that you learn and you pass on, you deliver. That we see in the previous ayat, we learned as well that Allah is the guide of those people who believe. And those people who believe, when they learn more about the Qur'an, فَتُخْبِتَ لَهُ قُلُوبُهُم. Their hearts humble before the Qur'an. So, when a person refers to the Qur'an, when a person goes back to the origin, then that is what humbles his heart. And if a person gets stuck in this opinion, this difference, that difference, then what happens? This kind of knowledge increases a person's arrogance. Because unfortunately, this is something that is very sad and very common. People who increase in their knowledge, they increase in their arrogance. They increase in their in refuting other people, in looking down on other people. This is not the correct way. The knowledgeable one is one who becomes humble. The one who has khubut, who humbles before the other. Yes, he knows a lot, but that knowledge will translate into his actions. So, we are being clearly told over here that go past these differences, rise above them, focus on the main thing. وَدْعُ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ. Call people to your Lord. And we see that many times it happens that, for example, if a group of people are sitting together, people will discuss about the differences between the ways of performing the salah, but you will hardly ever find people encouraging others to pray salah. Isn't it so? You will find people talking more about differences than talking about calling people to pray salah. This is extremely sad. وَدْعُ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ. And before that, don't get lost in these arguments. And the Prophet ﷺ is told, إِنَّكَ لَعَلَى هُدًى مُسْتَقِيمٍ. Indeed, you are surely upon the correct guidance. Meaning the religion that you have brought is the correct religion. And you are obligated to observe that. You're obligated to follow that. And with the coming of this religion, all of the previous ones are abrogated. All of the previous laws are abrogated. What are you obligated to follow? The law that has been given to you. So we see that in order for a person to be successful, in order for a person to be on the straight path, he must follow the Sharia of the Prophet ﷺ. We learn in Surah Al-Shura, ayah 52, وَإِنَّكَ لَتَهْدِي إِلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. And indeed, O Muhammad ﷺ, you guide to a straight path. You guide people to which way? The straight way. In Surah Yasin, ayah 1-4, what do we learn? Yasin wal Qur'an al-Hakim, إِنَّكَ لَمِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ عَلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. So, إِنَّكَ لَعَلَى هُدًى مُسْتَقِيمٍ. In Surah Al-Mu'minun, ayah 73 also we learn, وَإِنَّكَ لَتَدْعُوهُمْ إِلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. That indeed you invite people to a straight way. So the way of the Prophet ﷺ is the right way. That is the correct way. If you look at it, the Sahaba, even they had differences. When it comes to fiqh, differences are there. When it comes to practicing the religion, differences are there. But the Sahaba, they rose above those differences. And their focus was what? Deliver this religion to people. وَدْعُ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ. And there's so many incidents in which we find the Sahaba differing from one another. Like for example, that incident in which the Prophet ﷺ told a group of companions that you must arrive here by Asr. You must come and pray Asr here. So what happened? They were getting late. So some companions have said that we should pray Asr before leaving, before getting there. But others said that no, the Prophet ﷺ told us that we have to go and pray Asr over there. So even if the time has gone, we have to go and pray over there. So we see that difference was there. Did they fight with one another? Did they say, oh, this group of Sahaba is refuted? Did they do that? No. Did they do takfir of one another? Did they say that you are kafir and we are the ones on the right way? No way. This was not their way. Their way of humility. Their way was of agreeing to disagree. Agreeing to disagree that yes, you differ from me, fine. But I am still your brother. I will still pray next to you. I will still pray behind you. This was their way of unity. And when a people are united like this, only then they can do something together. Because when the focus of a people becomes cutting one another off, then they cannot do anything together. Think about it. If in your own family, if people are coming over to your house, and a group of sisters, they get together to cook something, each one is focused on highlighting herself and showing other people as bad. And for example, one is making the yogurt, the other is making the food. So she wants to make her food look good. So she goes and does something to her yogurt. She goes and does something to the salad of one person. Now at the end of the day, when the guests will come, will they be disappointed? Of course they will be. Yes, perhaps your dish is the best one, but everything else is ruined. Isn't it so? Will you be able to do something then? Will you be able to benefit people? Not at all. In fact, you are humiliating yourself. You're humiliating yourself. You're turning people off from you. They will not want to come to your house again. Because you're busy cutting the roots of one another. So when people get stuck in differences, what happens? They become weak. They cannot focus on the main goal. And when they rise above differences, then they can achieve more. Because remember that even two people, they cannot think the same way. It's not possible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created every human being unique in his appearance and also in his nature. Every human being is unique. He is different from the other. So don't impose your way of thinking on others. Don't impose your belief over others. You can tell them. You can discuss it with them. You can try to convince them if you believe that it's the correct one. It's very beneficial. However, at the end of the day, if they don't want to listen, don't force them. Don't force them. Because if you force them, it's going to create rifts between you. It's going to create a distance between you. And then you will not be able to do anything together. So, وَدُعُ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ إِنَّكَ لَعَلَىٰ هُدًى مُسْتَقِيمٍ. Be confident that this religion that we are on, this is the right way. If somebody does not accept, it's their choice. And Allah is the judge. We have done our part.